For the first time since 2016, Washington has used inflation to calculate a new minimum wage. This morning, why minimum wage workers will receive that increase in the new year. Plus, Spokane County's COVID-19 overall case numbers are trending in the right direction for the first time since the spring. But what does the data say about North Idaho? We're taking a closer look by the numbers. And the pandemic has forced many small businesses in our area to close. And now many business owners are saying they're closed for good. But the state is trying to fight this issue with grants. Today, how struggling businesses can apply.
And winter storm warnings issued for parts of the inland Northwest ahead of tomorrow's snowstorm. And I have the latest projections as to how much snow is going to be falling across our region.
Up with KREM begins now.
Coming up on 6:30 this morning, welcome to Up with KREM on this chilly Tuesday morning. This video might be mine and Thomas's favorite part of the day so far, and it's sure going to have you craving a cup of hot cocoa right now because this family went viral on TikTok for how this hot chocolate bomb is just the biggest one we've ever seen. It's so big, it took more than one full TikTok to actually make it melt. I asked our director, Scooter, if there was any chance we'd get to watch the whole video. He said, no chance. By the way, the rest of this week also feels like the perfect time to stay in with a cup of hot cocoa, maybe wait a little while for it to be perfect, just like that one. What do you think, Thomas?
Yeah, that's the part where it turns over and kind of breaks apart. Ooh, it's very oddly satisfying. That's how I can best describe that.
I'm a bit of a hot chocolate snob, I got to admit. How big are you into your hot chocolate?
I don't know if I can call myself a snob, but I do enjoy a great cup of hot cocoa.
The very first time I realized I was a snob was when I was working as a chef, and my executive chef made me hot chocolate with legitimate chocolate ganache. I was like, I'm never going back. I just can't go back.
It just ruins it. It's just like, I can only have it this way. No other way will be sufficient.
Maybe today is the best day to get your best hot chocolate recipe, though, because tomorrow might not be the best day to get outside, right, Thomas?
Yeah, get all your ingredients ready today out ahead of the snowstorm. And then if you don't have to go anywhere tomorrow, just kind of hunker down and enjoy the snow outside and the hot cup of cocoa inside. Winter storm warnings issued for northeastern Washington and the Panhandle region of North Idaho for tomorrow. It kicks in at 1 a.m. Wednesday morning. There are also winter weather advisories for most of the rest of the region as well. At minimum, bare minimum, we'll probably get 2 inches of snow out of this, but we could see up to 9 inches of snow, especially in some of those warning regions. So that plume of moisture you see in the cloud cover of the Pacific Ocean, that's our weather system that'll be heading our way about 24 hours from now. I think it'll be a pretty high impact event for Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and areas to the north. Of course, that's what the winter storm warnings are for as well. But like I said, kind of bare minimum if you're in the medium area, probably looking at least 2 inches of snow, which is, of course, more than enough to create some very slippery roads out there. Some of the side streets a little bit slippery because there's some freezing mist out there as of this morning. You probably need a couple extra minutes to scrape the ice off the windshields of your car before you get going. Just a cloudy day for today, highs in the low 30s. But like I mentioned, that snow will be starting first thing in the morning for tomorrow. I'll have an hour-by-hour breakdown of the snow's timeline and show you city by city how much snow we are expecting for the region.
We'll see you back here in a few minutes, Thomas, for that forecast. It is 6:32 right now. Beginning next week, minimum wage workers will get a 19-cent raise. Starting on January 1st, workers will be paid $13.69 an hour. And for the first time since 2016, this increase was actually calculated from inflation, not from a voter-approved ballot measure. Ballot measures have been approved have approved increases over the past 4 years. With this new increase was determined by a 1.39% increase on the Consumer Price Index over the past year. This will also affect the salary of some salaried employees exempt from overtime. Salaried executive, administrative, and professional workers, along with computer professionals, must earn a salary above a minimum specified amount to remain overtime exempt. That threshold, by the way, is 1.5 times the minimum wage. That will also increase in 2021. Here are 3 things you need to know about the coronavirus, not only in our area, but across the globe, starting with our local numbers this morning. The Spokane metro area has reached a new record number of coronavirus hospitalizations. The chief nursing officer at Sacred Heart Medical Center is calling it a grim statistic with 232 people currently hospitalized due to the virus. The Spokane Regional Health District has reported 147 new cases yesterday, and the total number of cases is now more than 25,000. 2 new deaths have been reported as well, and 355 people have died in Spokane County since the pandemic began. North Idaho now is reporting 332 new cases from over the weekend. That brings their total number of cases to 15,754 since the pandemic started. Currently, 99 people are hospitalized. Now, the coronavirus is also continuing to spread at an alarming rate at the Airway Heights Correction Center. Another 135 inmates have tested positive since last week. It is by far the largest prison outbreak in the state. More than 14,000 inmates have tested positive for the virus this month alone, and 1 inmate has died from COVID-19. By the way, the Airway Heights facility houses about 1,900 inmates. Now, Sunday was the busiest travel day at U.S. airports since the pandemic began, and that has prompted concern from healthcare experts of a surge on top of a surge that could put more of a strain on healthcare workers.
I would say that hospital leaders across the state were not thankful for Thanksgiving, and we didn't feel that merry about Christmas, and we're not that celebratory about New Year's Eve.
COVID-19 has now claimed more than 334,000 lives in the U.S. That's 1 out of every 1,000 Americans. Now, another coronavirus vaccine is now under final stage testing in the U.S. and Mexico. Novavax has started a large late-stage study after delaying the trial twice because of issues with manufacturing. But the drug developer will enroll up to 30,000 volunteers, and they hope to deliver 100 million doses to the U.S. early next year if their vaccine is proven to be effective and safe. To date, more than 2 million Americans have been vaccinated already against COVID-19. The federal government had aimed for 20 million people by the end of the year. And according to the latest CDC data, more than 11 million doses of the vaccine have been shipped across the country. Looking locally in Spokane, Sacred Heart Medical Center says they have administered 2,000 first-dose vaccines so far. Now, while we're all waiting for those COVID-19 vaccines to be widely distributed, health leaders have warned us that the darkest days of COVID-19 still might lie ahead. And that might be true, but what does the data show us now? I want to change our perspective a little bit today. We're going to look at signs of encouragement so that all of us can continue to find that strength to push through until the pandemic is officially over. We're going to start by looking at North Idaho this morning. The Panhandle Health District has reported 230 new cases of COVID-19 just yesterday, as we mentioned, bringing their overall total this year to 13,775. But I want to take a look at what happens when we add in the 14-day moving average over the top. Look at that. This is crazy. Look at how much that curve dropped in just a week. Now, while we're looking at it, I want to add a little bit of context. The Panhandle Health District does not report new cases on Sundays, and they also didn't report any new cases on Christmas Eve. So that means Christmas Day, not Christmas Eve. That means we didn't get any new numbers in 3 of the past 9 days. So that's some context there. But even then, this drop is really good to see. North Idaho, by the way, also has gone 5 straight days without a reported death. That data has to hold up, though, because new data comes in every day. If it does, it would be the longest streak of days without a reported death in North Idaho since mid-September. Let's take a look at Spokane County now this morning. Now, we're going to start with this moving day average over the top because I want you to look. It's a very similar situation in Spokane County. For the first time since the spring, Spokane County is now seeing an extended drop period in the moving average of reported cases. But there's another story that really caught my attention, and we're going to take away this moving 14-day average to look at it. You might notice I highlighted a day over there. It's Monday, December 21st, right there. I'll give you 1 second to see if you can spot why I highlighted this very important day. If you can't spot it, let me adjust it just a little bit here. Do you see? I've been watching this data all year, and starting here on November 5th, Spokane County reported the first of its 46 straight days of new daily case numbers that were over this 100 mark. Those 46 days included 9 of Spokane County's 10 highest single-day totals, and the overall total during this stretch is 12,881 cases overall. That's more than half of all of the cases reported in the entire year across Spokane County, just in these 46 days. So as we look back here again on Monday, December 21st, that is where the streak ends. Only 70 new cases were reported that day. So yes, it's true. This is not the time to lighten up. Vaccine distribution is still continuing, but we should all be looking for the light that is starting to shine at the end of this tunnel, and just look for any sign of encouragement so we can use it to push forward whenever we can. All right, coming up this morning, the pandemic has forced many small businesses in our area to close. And this morning, we'll share how struggling businesses can apply for a small business grant.
And while things are a little bit frozen out there this morning because of the mist, we're tracking snow starting by tomorrow morning and the winter storm warnings that are attached to that. Your full forecast is coming up next on Up with KREM.